Hello, hello. My name is Patrice Williams. I'm here for Vote Safe California. We are doing a voter education series, and today I get to introduce you to someone I completely adore, Gail Vaughn. Give me a second while I bring her on. Gail.
Hello, Patrice. How are you doing?
Good, good. I tell you, I talk about you when I talk about voter registration because I don't know if I've told you this, but you are my voter registration mentor. You
Oh,
are a
thanks.
super champion in voter registration, and when you catch on to a spirit that cares about voter registration too, you grab hold of us and
We
have
did a lot, Patrice.
we did a lot of work, but boy, you've done so much before I hit the scene. We met through the League of Women Voters. I was the president of APAPA Solano County. You were, I think at the time, you were running voter registration, voter education for League of Women Voters, and both nonpartisan organizations. We just care about getting the community to vote and understanding the power of the vote. And we met, and I tell you, I know for me, I connected with you immediately. And then we then did some really great work. We were out in the community at the schools talking to
Mhm.
youth, giving them voter education, and we got to do that all over Vallejo, and that was a lot of fun.
Yes, it was a lot of fun, and we got a lot done that year. The last election, we registered over 1,200 people in 6 weeks.
Yes. That's
So
amazing.
we went to a lot of schools.
That's amazing. And remember all of the schools that were they saw the work that you were doing and wanted throughout Solano County wanted you to get involved in their schools. And
That's
I remember that.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
And I think, I mean, I don't know if that's how League of Women Voters does. Impetus started for it to go Solano County wide, but I just remember so many people throughout Solano County saying, "Come to our school." So just amazing
Yes,
work.
we were able to get a team together. We started with like 7 of us the year before, and by the next year we had something like 40 volunteers who were willing to go in and were trained and go in to explain voter registration. And then last year, we go every year, whether it's an election year or not, to teach voter registration and a little bit of civics. And last year we developed a slideshow that we use in the presentation, but it was updated, and we just sent the slideshow and the script that is read to the teachers that we normally go to, asked them if they wanted it, if they could use it because they were teaching in a Zoom situation. And so, yeah, there were, quite a few, I don't know, 15 maybe or 16 around throughout the county who said they would share them with their coworkers and put them up. And then this year, it should be completed maybe by next week, I hope, um, a video of that slideshow that will be sent to the teachers so they can use that because we're not allowed to go in anymore because of COVID.
That's wonderful. And I love that the techniques to reach our youth is just changing, based
Mhm.
on the environment that we're in. So wonderful.
And
So,
so much register online now as the teachers are doing that. So
I always loved registering on online. It just takes a few minutes. Actually, you know what? I think we should give the audience the URL for to register online. Um, is it registertovote.ca.gov?
I think so. It might just be vote.ca.gov.
Okay, I'm going to double check both. So
Okay.
let's talk about, we have a election coming up next week, next Tuesday.
Hmm.
And with you, I wanted to have that nonpartisan conversation about voting, the power of voting. Why does this work mean so much to you, Gail?
Because if you're going to be a participant in your society and you have the privilege of voting, you have a place for your voice. You don't, you should participate. I'm a participator. I think everybody should. If you it's like going to the grocery store. Somebody else does your grocery shopping for you. You don't aren't sure what you're going to get. The same thing with voting. You make your choice and you mark it on your ballot.
Right. So it is register2vote.ca.gov. There might be other versions of it, but that's the one that's stuck in my head. I think
Oh,
I've
good.
I've said it a thousand times over the last few years. My reason to vote, it was almost the same as the census. Like, it's that great equalizer. You don't like something, you you change it, and you're no matter whether you're 19, 18, or if you're 52, or if you're 98. Your voice matters, and everyone has that one vote. And so that's why it was just so meaningful to go into the community with you. It was meaningful, and an experience that I'll never forget.
Good.
So what are you yeah, so what wait, before we start, well, we started already,
We
but let
did.
me just let me just introduce you, Gail, as not only a passionate member of the community. You were a part of League of Women Voters. A lot of people know you through that. But now you're a commissioner with the women and
Commission
girls
Commission for Women and Girls.
Commission for Women and Girls. And also, you are a retired teacher.
Yes.
And you're so funny because you remind us. I'm always in a room where you remind us all of that when you're fussing at us. So if you're fussing at us, you'll say, "Oh, but I'm a retired teacher."
Yeah, I'm fussing. The power of the finger. You push the button to vote.
Right. Okay, so let's get into the meat of things.
Okay.
What we were going to dispel some myths. There was some kind of misinformation that's out there in the community that you were telling me about in our pre-show. Let's start there.
Okay. Um, this election, every registered voter was sent a mail-in ballot. And in the past, you've had to request a mail-in ballot or sign up for mail-in ballot, which we used to call absentee. But this time, because of COVID, everyone was sent one. And in the packet that was sent, there was a sample ballot and a general ballot. And usually the sample ballot is sent to everyone, and then the mail-in ballot is sent just to those people who signed up for mail-in. So there was some confusion when people were marking their ballot. They had two. They had one, they had to read, which we don't always do as well as we should, at the top, whether it was a sample ballot or a general ballot. And a sample ballot, that's where you decide, well, maybe I'll do this and maybe I'll do that. That's where you do your maybes. And then you mark your general ballot and sign it, well, fold it and put it in the envelope, sign the envelope, seal the envelope, put it in the mail. And some people that I've been talking to got confused and marked their regular ballot as their sample ballot. And so then they needed a new ballot. Well, how do you get a new ballot? Well, you can request one from the registrar of voters, show them a picture of your void. You can just send them a video or a picture of your voided ballot. Or you can go to the polls on election day with a voided ballot and they'll give you a new one to mark right there.
Okay, very good. And that's good information just to know. I remember in past elections, people would mark it incorrectly and need that new ballot. And so would you, can you call to request the new ballot?
You can call and request, yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So that
And
so that
I think I gave you the number for that. It's 707-784-6675.
let me have that number one more time. 707
784
784
6675.
6675. Okay, and that's directly
That's
to.
the Registrar Voters. You can call there to check on the status of your ballot, or you can call there I think you can also do it online. You can request a ballot online as well
Awesome.
at Solano Registrar Voters.
Awesome.
Yeah. So,
So, so what
things
else
that
are you hearing out in the community? That's
well,
that's
things that have changed at the poll. Well, a lot of people are worried about going to the polls. In fact, they're going to be short of poll workers because of people are fearful of COVID. You know, in Solano County, the rate of COVID is accelerating, and it's tripled in Benicia in the last 3 weeks, the rate of COVID cases. So people are fearful of going to the polls for that reason. And so there's all kinds of safety precautions for the poll workers and for voters. Voters, all the poll workers will be wearing masks and gloves, and you'll be handed a pen. If you're a voter, you'll be handed a pen with your ballot, and you keep that pen. There's a couple of different things you have to sign and fill out, and you just keep that pen and take it with you out the door. There's not going to be any reuse of pens, no washing of pens like in the past. And then we'll be wiping down the voting booths after every.
what I will say is I voted in person during the pandemic in November, and I really was appreciative of the thoughtfulness and the protocol, the COVID-19 protocols. I mean, it wasn't just everyone is masked up. It wasn't just, the separation in the space, but also like there was literally someone's whose pure job was to wipe down, just keep wiping down everything. Literally from place to place to place. It was the fact that they just had, they had someone that was dedicated to that.
Yeah.
I was really impressed.
Well, I think we're going to be, like I said, because we're going to be short staffed, I think we'll be taking turns doing it, but there will be somebody there doing it. And then because of the kerfuffle, if you will, for lack of a better word, of over mask mandates or not, Benicia and Vallejo just passed mask mandates, so you have to wear a mask indoors. But the rest of Solano County is not under that mandate. So there will be people at every polling place, we're expecting, people who don't wear masks, and they will be offered a mask. We'll have masks to offer them. But if they choose not to, then there's a protocol for allowing them to vote either curbside in their car or inside the polling booth, inside the polling place. And if they choose to vote inside, then they will have to wait until everyone else who's currently in the polling place voting is finished, and we clear the room, basically.
Oh, wow.
So that there's enough space, 6 to 8 feet. There's enough space between them and the e-roster person and all of the different the ballot clerk and the equipment persons.
Wow. Goodness. So two things. One, John Gardner was just on the show yesterday.
Oh, I
And
should have checked with him.
yes. So there is a list of polling, where the polling places where they're all from outside. You can drop off
Yes.
your ballot. So so for as many people as possible to just drop off their ballot. Right.
Go ahead.
No, right outside is a wonderful thing. And what I'll do is I will post that link on before we end and here in a few minutes. And so that's one option. So the other thing I wanted to say was, I was part of a team that went to different polling stations throughout Solano County.
Mm-hmm. Uh-oh, you froze on me.
That what that we, in my mind, was the most organized, well run. It was yours.
Oh, well, thank you. I think you might be
It was
president
a
better.
well-oiled machine. I felt like the poll workers were just looking at each other and communicating. It was pretty phenomenal. That's the other reason why I wanted to have you on the show, and I'm glad that you're able to tell us like what inside polling is going to look like. Now, Gail, does
Let
that
me
mean?
interrupt you for just a minute before I
Oh,
forget. That's
yes.
my problem with staying on task. You mentioned outdoor polling, outside drop-off. That is happening now. You don't have to wait till election day to do that.
Thank you for that. Yes.
Yeah, and my husband and I are going to be working the outdoor polls the day before election, as well as being a poll worker there. So,
Right.
right. So people
Now,
don't have to get out of their cars or anything. They just hand it to
I
us.
think that's a wonderful. I mean, that's self-service. I love it. I think that's the way to go.
Yeah.
Let's not wait till the last minute.
No, and you can mail it. And if I know some people were nervous about mailing because the mail is so slow and what do I do? We really if as long as it's postmarked by I think it's midnight, but I wouldn't trust that because I don't know where things are postmarked at midnight. I'd say 5 o'clock on election day. As long as it's postmarked by election day and received within a week, it will count.
Right. Right.
And
When John was speaking,
you can also track your ballot to see where it is once you've mailed it.
you know what? We're going to give that link because we're getting a lot of questions about that. They would track at where's my
Mhm.
ballot.sos.ca.gov, and I'm going to post that in our chat right now as well.
Okay, the voter has to put in their name and their address for that to work. So they do have to give a little bit of information.
But that's wonderful. That way you know when it's delivered, you know when it's counted.
Yeah,
I love it. I love it.
good.
Oh, any other pointers?
Um, well, there's I don't kn the ballot itself is different for most voters. We've only done a recall of a governor twice, well, this is the second time. And this ballot is different than that last recall. So there's two things to vote on this ballot. The first one is, do you recall Governor Newsom? And you vote yes or no. No means you want him to be in office, and yes means you want him out, which seems kind of backwards. It's just, yes, I want him to go, or yes, I don't want him. So as an English teacher point of view, it's a double negative working there. Um, and then the second part is where you can choose to vote for one of 46 different candidates who are running to replace him. Now, all of the candidates running, not all of the candidates running are Republicans. There are
Yes.
some Democrats, there are some no party preference or independents, some libertarians, there's all kinds of people running. And if you want to know about these people, I mean, there's been a lot of ads on TV for some of the more popular ones or more uh, well known. But if you want to know about these candidates, you can go to a site the league provides called Voters Edge, and they've requested that all of the different candidates submit information about themselves. And I worked with Voters Edge for a number of years and found that the candidates who are now this is a prejudice. This isn't nonpartisan. It is nonpartisan. The candidates who are most interested in running, really want the job, will put their information on Voters Edge.
Mm.
And if they are hesitant, then why are you hesitant? Well, I don't know. I don't have time. Well, if you don't have time to do Voters Edge, you don't have time to do a good job. That's my opinion. Nonpartisan or not, the English teacher's showing up. Do your homework. There's also, for people who don't have access to Voters Edge for whatever reason, in your packet with your, or it came before your packet, you got a voter pamphlet that came in the mail, and it has information about most of the candidates. Some of them wrote just a single line about what their job was, or some guy wrote, "What's up?" That's all he wrote. It's like, okay, well, well, anyway, I thought that was entertaining. Let's find out about him. What's up? So it was a a trick or a lead to get you to go to his website. But anyway, so that's how you can find out who's on the ballot. Now, the tricky part is, I think, is that for the governor to be recalled or to stay in office, well, either way, for the governor to be recalled, 50% of the voting public has to vote yes. For him to stay in office, 50% of the people have to vote no. Okay. To replace him, of those 46 people, there's no percentage required. It's just the one who gets the most votes.
Okay.
So the person who gets the most vote may only get 10% of the vote, and they would become governor. So for that reason, some people are choosing to leave that option blank and not vote on the second one. They're voting one way for the governor and then no choice.
You just cleared up a lot of confusion.
Oh, good.
There's a lot of confusion, a lot of information, and you just stated that so clearly. So thank you for that.
You're welcome. Yeah, it's a hard choice. It's like, okay, I don't usually not vote for people. I always mark something, because to not mark is to not use your voice. But in this case, to not mark is using your voice as well.
Right. Got it. Okay.
Okay.
Any other final tips?
You can track your ballot. We've talked about that.
Yes. And I'm putting that up on our screen now. Where's my ballot.sos.ca.gov?
Right.
And then I'm also going to put on the screen votersedge.org, which is a resource that people have all the time.
Right. That's League of Women Voters resource.
It's a wonderful, wonderful resources. That's how I sort out the initiatives. Because I'm always in measures, I'm always confused. And then you could read through Voter's Edge and really understand.
I see in chat somebody's got a question. What ID can I bring if I don't have a driver's license? You don't have to have an ID to vote in California. You just come in and tell them your address. You come into you'll have a greeter there, and they'll ask you your street address, and then they'll send you to the East roster, and they'll look it up on their computer screen, and they'll print you out a ticket that has your name and address on it. And if your address is changed, you write right on that little ticket. It looks like a receipt. You write right on there your new address and sign it, and take that to the provisional clerk, and you'll be given a ballot, and a new ballot will be created for you that's in the right precinct, and then you can vote right there. But you don't need any kind of ID.
Is that throughout Solano County?
That's throughout the state of California.
Yep, great information. Because I never bring my ID, but I thought maybe it was just the polling station I was at. But no, it's anywhere in California. You do not need your ID.
A lot of states require it. California doesn't, because some people can't afford. They don't drive. They can't afford to get the California ID, or they don't have a way to get to DMV to do that. So it helps those people. Still, we want everyone to vote.
We want everyone to vote.
Right. Homeless people can vote. There's a way for them to vote. They can put in, they don't have a place. They can put in a place where they keep if they're sleeping in a car or an RV, they can put the corner that they're on. Or most homeless people receive and have a mailbox, and they can put that as their address, their mailbox, so that on their registration, if they haven't already, they can vote. And if you're a recent change, like 2 years ago. If you're a felon who's completed the parole, you're allowed to vote.
Okay. So if you're off of parole, you can
If you're
vote.
off parole. Okay, Nisi Marie, you can go to any polling place. If you go to a polling place that's not yours, you'll be given a provisional ballot, which will be counted, but will have to go. It goes on a different route to be reviewed by the Registrar of Voters before it's counted. So if you can, it's best to go to your own polling place, and your polling place is listed on in the packet that you received with your ballot.
Thank you. Let me see if hi, Kevin. I was trying to put you up on the screen. Um, Kevin is also Mr. Mac, as the kids call him. He was
Oh,
a
Mr. Mack.
very very popular retired educator. The kids loved him so much that when my son went to Rodriguez, he didn't go to the elementary school, the junior high school, but he knew who Dr. Mack was. I was meeting with him. He's like, "You mean, oh, I was meeting with Kevin, and he said, Mr. Mack?" I'm like, "How would you know that?" He's like, "The kids love him." So awesome. I think we're at our 30-minute mark. Are there
Well,
any
that was fast.
I didn't it always goes really super fast. Are there any thoughts that you have, or is just the message to get out and vote?
Get out and vote. Call your friends the night before, or text them on Sunday or Monday night and say, "Who are you voting for?" Or, "Do you want to go to the polls together? Have you lost your ballot? Is it under your bed?" You know, you know.
Right.
I've learned on many parts of my life through teaching in my ed therapy practice that nagging does a heck of a lot of good, and especially to get out the vote. You just call people and remind them. So please go vote.
Go vote.
Drop that thing in the mail. Drop it off at a drop box. The drop boxes are open. You know.
The drop boxes are open. I believe it's every day except for Sunday. I believe.
Yeah, I think you may be right about that. 8 to 5. So
Yes,
there
yes.
you go.
So also we want to point people to the Solano County website. It's solanocounty.com. I'm going to put that up as well. And if you go to that website and take the on the navigation bar, pick Registrar of Voters, that will give you the full magic that is the Registrar of Voters.
Oh yeah, he has a ton of little buttons you can press that are just great.
It is. I agree. Okay, we will put that on the screen with any final words, and then that's a wrap.
Yeah.
Final words?
Go vote.
Go
Be
vote.
heard. Make your voice heard.
Yes.
Wear a
Yes.
mask.
Yes. Yes. Gail Vaughn, it is always a pleasure to be in your presence. Thank you for being a mentor to many of us in voter registration and voter education. And I just get to tell you in public that I adore you.
Well, thank you so much. I think you're one of the most important people I know. So
Oh, uh-oh.
oh yeah, with who you can affect. With who you nag into doing things.
Well, thank you. And thank you to our audience. As we say, the magic is in the replay. So please share this nonpartisan message about voter education. Please share it to your groups and your associations and anywhere you can. We want to get out the word to go vote. We want you to call your friends and family in California to vote. We just there's different ways to vote that Gail covered, and with that, have a
I do have
wonderful
one
day.
last thing, always one last
Mhm.
thing, is that should you not want to wear a mask, the right to vote supersedes the mandate to wear a mask. So it's more important to vote
It's
than
more
to worry
important to
about the mask.
vote than to wear a mask.
Yep.
And for me, I'm thinking first, is this is a nonpartisan thing? Yeah, this is nonpartisan. I say vote from your car. Like, just drop it. You just drop it off at a poll location.
Yeah.
You know, just
Stay safe. Stay safe. And there's
stay
ways
safe.
stay safe.
Yeah. Yeah. I just love that option more than ever. This voting cycle and the last voting cycle. Just make it easy.
Yep.
Just like Safeway pickup. Just pop your trunk. They put in the groceries. Same thing with this. You just drop it off, and keep going.
Yep.
So anyway,
All right. Thanks, Kay Patrice, for letting me have this opportunity to encourage people to vote.
the pleasure is mine. Have a good one.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.